Okay, right. Well, very good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us right here on Daybreak. Asante sana. Today, like we promised last week, we're going to go on with the conversation about mental health and depression, and so many things have happened again just this week, and that's, I think, the reason why it is important to have the conversation, because we're seeing this happening more and more and more. We saw the former Miss USA 2019 jumping to her death. She was, I think, 29 or in her 20s, and you know, the stories just keep on coming, and it is an unfortunate event that happened and that is still happening. So that's why we want to keep on with this conversation. I want to introduce the panel. Like we promised you, this is part 2, and they're back. We want to allow them to introduce themselves. So I'll start with you, Rispa. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. My name is Rispa Waigiri. I'm a lawyer at Mahida and Minor Company Advocates and a podcaster. Yeah.
Jina ya podcast.
The Two-Sided Coin Podcast.
That's right.
The Two-Sided Coin Podcast.
All right. Yeah. Up top, ladies first.
My name is Femata Munyafu. I'm a poet and a podcaster. My podcast is called Poetically Bubbly Closet Sessions.
All right. Okay, still with the ladies first. We'll come down first. And introduce Le Professional. Professional, but in this field.
Thank you for having me, Willis. Grace Kashanja is my name, psychologist at Chiromo Hospital Group. Happy to be with you all.
All right, then the gentleman up top. Start with Eugene.
I saw that coming. Teddy Otieno, Eugene. I'm a radio presenter at Hot 96 and a writer, Citizen Digital.
All right.
Yeah, man. I go by the name of DJ Rev, Gabriel William Maunda. I'm a DJ, just like the name explains, events organizer and a radio personality.
All right, karibu sana. Well, I want to start by putting up something that I think the last week both Rispa and Femi alluded to in terms of what they're talking about in their podcast and things that they've even just experienced in life in general. And this happens like when you share, you know, about depression, when you have a breakdown. Let's take a look at this. I found this post a little bit interesting. If we can have it up. There it is. So it says that when Tyrese had a mental breakdown online in regards to not seeing his daughter in 2 years, people laughed at him and he became a meme. When Kanye West had a mental breakdown on TV, people called him crazy and he too became a meme. The world watched Will Smith listen to his wife tell him live that she had an affair. People laughed at Will. He too became a meme. Yet folks wonder why men don't open up about their mental health. Interesting thoughts there. Interesting point there. What do you think? I'll start with you, Femi.
I think that a lot of times people like to joke about a lot of things, right, such as depression. It seems like you're weak, or like everyone else goes through it, so people find it like, why are you telling us? Why would you expose yourself like this on social media? And I think it needs to be what would I say?
Talked about.
Yes, it needs to be talked about more often, and people need to be free, and every space should be a safe space for people to open up about their problems, because you never know who you could be helping and who could help you in return.
Right.
Yes.
It's very sad, I think, also because of the biggest struggle I think people deal with when they're going through depression or any form of mental problem is opening up. So, Rispa, when then now you open up and stuff like that happens, you know, even with the bullying case the other time, everybody was now making memes about Atiwo Akingia na lunch, vile anaambiwa, and there are several memes as well. Yeah. What do you think that does to people who are watching online and they're actually dealing with the same thing?
Okay. You see, first, there's a post I saw after we lost our friend Alex, may he RIP. After we lost Lithium, there's a post that went around on Twitter, and everyone was really retweeting. It was saying, the reason why your friends are committing suicide is because when they open up to you, instead of listening and helping, you go gossip about it. Yeah, I saw that post go around a lot of times, and I actually agree with it. So what happens when you open up? You want to have a confidence to speak things in confidence to someone, to ensure that this person that I'm telling this must not do anything, but at least I know my information is stuck with them, but they don't do it. So if at all someone you know in person cannot keep it to himself or herself, so what about people that you know online that have no emotional attachment to you, have no responsibility towards your well-being, mental well-being? So what happens is, for them, they are passing time. They're using internet to the best of their knowledge.
And sometimes letting go of their frustrations.
Yeah, letting go of their frustrations. You see, I remember there used to be a lot of cyberbullying and a lot of online bullying, and most people who are well-known on social media had to come out and start talking about it. And I love the slogan that came about, that if someone bullies you online, or if someone tries to make you feel like you're lesser of a person, you need to understand that you are not the problem, they are. So a lot of wishing people healing is happening. You know, it is a big torture to experience hate from people. It's one thing to experience dislike and hate from people you know, because you know what is bringing up the break in rapport. It's another thing to experience it from someone you don't know, being attacked by someone you've never experienced. It actually probably makes you feel worse. And probably even for someone who's not self-aware, it makes you feel like you're having a confirmation of all your faults and all your flaws. You get? Right. Because, I mean, Willis, if I don't know you and you come attacking me, yet I have probably been receiving the same kind of attack from her, who I know, what does that mean? It means, for someone who's not able to guard their mental health, it means I am just confirming what she reflects on me. You see, so I end up double blaming myself, double hating myself, my esteem goes down, double everything negative goes down double.
Right, yeah. Right. And if you look at it from a broader perspective, especially for the boy child, Maunda.
Yeah, man.
Maunda. For the boy child, already talking about it,
yes,
whatever it is you're going through, is hard.
Yeah.
First of all, even accepting it wewe mwenyewe kama boy child. So what for those who again wanakaa wanaangalia wanasema sasa hivi ndio inafanyanga mtu aki open up. Wewe unadhani wanafilaje in terms of especially the youth, because again this week we also saw something, a very promising footballer. We don't know what the real backstory is, but for me the big thing was that, well, the big thing, of course, was what he did, or allegedly did, but that he was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And the violence and the audios that we had, they know masana. So for a little youth, what do you think that does to them and the way they think?
If they get cyberbullied, or
if they're watching, that's how many spectators on.
Exactly. Of course, they shy away and they will keep off, because besi yangu amefanywa hivi, ambule mse mwingine amefanywa hivi, mimi hapo hata mimi siwezi, you know. So people learn now to bottle up things. Now they keep because now they are now afraid. Everybody is afraid of being cyberbullied, or being, as in, becoming a meme. You become a meme like in a Will Smith evil. So you keep off, and then you keep stuff to yourself, and then that's how now you end up going to, if you're going through an issue, you go tell to somebody that maybe is not qualified, those people that now go and gossip you out there. So I think it does not do the youth any justice. But I think also the youth as well, I think majority of the people online are the youth. And youth also, as much as we advocate for the youth, also youth do a lot of cyberbullying. They don't understand what it is, because you see, some of the minds are not fully matured. So they don't understand the repercussions of things that they're doing or they're putting people through. So for them, maybe it's just banter, for them it's just fun. You know, a lot of people go on the internet for different reasons. So they go there to have fun. So it becomes a joke. They just don't know the extent to that joke, that which they want to make a joke, will go onto the subject person, the person that's being ridiculed on social media. They don't know the extent. So sometimes when you check the profile, when people are attacking somebody or making fun of somebody, a lot of people are youth or pseudo accounts.
Yeah, I normally find it very funny when people bully me and say the most nastiest of things.
Yeah.
Ukienda pale unaona lover of Christ.
Yeah.
Father. Teacher.
Exactly.
Retweets are not mine. All thoughts my own.
Exactly. But now what they are saying is totally in contradiction to what they've put up in their bio.
Right.
And then also when you check a lot of mature people, like the elderly people, most of them, you see even their comments are a bit more mature. So I think the thing is now, from the question that you've asked, a lot of youth who see people being ridiculed will never go on the internet and talk about what they are going through. So but I think also on that aspect, I think mental health and actually being sensitive on such matters should be introduced very early in school.
Right.
Yeah, so that people now become aware as they grow up, so that you know the extent of when you do these things, you're hurting people. It is not fun, you're hurting people. Yeah.
I tell you, there was a documentary that came, I don't know if you've seen it, the BBC Eye documentary that was just showing.
Africa Eye, yeah.
And there was a point where they had like, we call it a kikao, like, you know, meeting. And people are talking, and it was what I think was a representation, and we were even talking about yesterday, a representation of what you'll find on social media. You'll find in any serious problem, people will be like, oh, it was the girl's fault. Oh, unachapa aje kama ni mwanaume. Oh, so again, going through a timeline, you find these different commentaries from people. So in such a place, at least in that documentary, there was one person who spoke up and tried to tell guys, hey, wait a minute, kuchapa dem ni mbaya. So how do you, the African voice,
right.
How do you, you know, use, as a youth, use your platform for that, to try and change?
Well, thank you, Willis. The documentary that Willis is referring to is the Africa Eye documentary by the BBC. And I think at that point, they were actually at Majengo.
Yes.
It was some sort of a kamukunji. Yes. So men were being asked, how do you deal with, you know, certain situations in the house? And there was one who was saying, for a woman to be called a wife, they need to go through an initiation. And of course, the initiation now referring to the violence in this case. Now, as a journalist and, you know, ardent social media user, I believe I can use my platform to advocate for change. And, you know, change is a process. Change stems from, you know, looking at the root causes of a certain issue. Because when you look at something, maybe an issue from an issue-based perspective, then you're able to see that there are three things, you know, just like we have a tree. Yeah, so picture a tree diagram. You have the branches, the leaves, the fruits per se. Then you move down to the trunk, and of course you have the roots. So Willis, when you're taking a walk, yeah, say you're going to visit Mzee in Kisumu, and you're taking a walk, and you spot a tree, what are the things that you see? You'll see the trunk, you'll see the branches and the fruits, but you don't see the root. So it is always important to go back to the root cause and ask ourselves the question, why is it happening? You know, and for how long has it happened? And what are some of the approaches that have been taken over time to try and solve this issue? So it stems from a very soft spot where people need to go back and address the issue from the root causes. You know, violence could stem from various issues. That one, perhaps this person experienced it when they were, you know, growing up. Perhaps this person faced bullying in school. Yesterday I was watching a movie, and this it so happened that there was this young boy who was literally being bullied by the colleagues, you know, the classmates. They'd gone out for a trip. And so it happened over and over and over and over again. It got to a point where this young boy picked his school bag, placed rocks in the bag, and jumped into the pool. It so happened that a friend of one of the friends was walking by, jumped into the pool and saved the boy. So you can imagine how many boys, you know, are going through this. How many boys have that going through their minds? And that's why last time I really stressed on the point of healing the child in you, you know. And even as Maunda was talking about, you know, people using pseudo accounts and whatnot.
Right.
Those pseudo accounts are people who are dealing with issues that have not, they're not even solved yet. So these are some of the people who actually are undergoing depression. But how do they let it out? How do they find a space where they can talk with ease and, you know, I'm here pronouncing myself, but people still don't know me. They can't tell who I am. I can say whatever I like to please myself. But at the end of the day, you're not even solving the root cause, the root issues that are deeply rooted in you.
Yeah. There's a thrill about it as well, you know. They don't know who I am, so I'm like... Anderson 3522222 something.
Exactly.
And you're spewing all these things. So there's a sort of thrill. But again, the other thing is, I think that in itself, unless you're using it for safety, you know, because huwezi onekana ukiwa pale zingine. But if you use you know, a pseudo account to bully somebody, there's this. It's normally used as a joke, but I think I like it. There's this Nigerian one says, if you want a problem with me, don't go corner, face me direct.
Exactly.
You know, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
I'd like to know, Grace, about how would you... First thing, we talked about it, maybe the first question would be, if somebody who is watching all these things go on and looking at the alternative, I'll call them alternative views of people and seeing how people are dealt with when they open up, becoming memes. Sasa mtu anasema kama Will Smith anafanyiwa hivyo. Mimi tu hapa. Hapa tu. How? What does it do to somebody who is going through those problems themselves?
It does a lot of things. I think the first one being, as Maunda mentioned, I won't open up. Because if that's Will Smith, what about me?
Right.
Me ordinary. You know, me Grace Gashanja. Me without using Anderson 3222252.
Yes.
You know? So it shows me that nobody out there cares. Nobody out there is interested in my sharing of the story. And the first thing I think we all have to acknowledge is a lot of people out there, a lot of us use our social media pages not for marketing, not for gaining clout, but as an area where I can vent and let it out there. I know a lot of people who started out their pages, their blogs, their Twitter accounts, just so that they can speak up because they felt that in that space, I can be me, I can just vent. Or even the blogs that we set up, you know. And then when someone comes and just shuts you down, I think some of the Facebook pages or Twitter pages have really been known to shut people down and make them feel invalid and invalidate their feelings.
And by the way, there's no president, prime minister of Twitter on Facebook, apart from Mark Zuckerberg and, well, Jack Ma left. But so there's really nobody who should tell you, usifanye hii hapa.
Exactly. Yeah. But we're all out there policing and saying what you should or should not share on your pages. So that shuts someone down. And if at all this is someone who was already struggling with their self-esteem, struggling with finding a voice, struggling with asking for help, then you just validate them and tell them, no one really cares. So if someone was already in a stressful place, someone was already going through a really dark space, they have just gone much deeper into that space than before. So it really just compresses that. And again, something that we mentioned last week was the presence of us being very biased and really not being comfortable in our own skin with seeing a man break down, with seeing a man share their experiences, with us being our emotional selves. And I think that has really, that post, when I saw it, that's exactly what came into my mind. That indeed we are so biased that whenever someone shares and opens up about what they're feeling, our first thought is that meme them. This is too deep, I can't deal with this, so let's make a joke out of it.
So it's deflection.
Deflection. And as Kenyans, we are so good at deflecting. Anything serious happens, we all meme, we all find a funny side up. And yes, it does help us cope, but we don't really understand the impact it has on the person themselves, on their motivation, on their self-esteem, on their, even the fact that we're invalidating their feelings. you know. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday. I think it was a book I was reading, and it was looking at us as human beings being the thinking man and the feelings man. And whenever we invalidate the feelings man, we totally bring everything aside. And the goal as human beings should be to find that balance, my rational mind and my emotional mind. But every time someone shares and you're allowing yourself to be emotional, you're indulging in your feelings and actually says that, yes, this is affecting my feelings and this is what I think about it. But when you come and invalidate what I'm feeling, then I'll never open up again, you know? Yeah. And that's all the negative impacts we're seeing just coming in and affecting our day-to-day.
On the flip side, there is also that person who is using that pseudo account. I don't know, Steady or somebody has said it here that, and you also mentioned it, but is that to them, because they are probably watching like, yes, nakuanga na pseudo kama tatu. But what would be advice to them? Because what are they running from something? Are they hiding the fact that you can't? Of course, you know, society is crazy, but I feel like if, and I've done this, I'll use it as an example, people. If, for example, Bahati ametoa ngoma mbaya and nani ni mbaya, ni mzuri kwa watu wengine, but mimi nikwambia, "Ai hapa jamaa umechoma juu naongeanga na yeye." You know, so I can tell him direct instead of getting on a pseudo account and going to his page and saying, "Ai siku hizi." I think it will help him better if I tell him direct. Not that anatoa ngoma mbaya, but again, it's relative. But I mean, I just use that as an example. Yeah. So what is in the psyche of somebody who is hiding behind the keyboard warriors and cyberbullies who are hiding behind pseudo accounts?
It varies from person to person depending on their experiences. For one, on one side, we have those people who probably have been bullied themselves and they're just projecting their negative feelings or thoughts about themselves onto another person.
Like that boy Teddy was talking about.
Exactly.
Right? If he used to get access to social media. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's that aspect of projecting. And then there are those people who basically might be looking for clout because, you know, if I'm always trending, I'm the person behind Grace Gashanja 123. I am known to bully people online. Then I'll become that person who's known. I'll trend. And so it also gains clout on my side. But at the same time, we can't really know, we can't really say what is happening behind this person. But we always say that every person, even when you're talking about bullying in schools, when you're talking about bullying in our social engagements, we always ask, we always know that at the back of my mind, it's not about me, it's about them. You know, and it's always good to remind ourselves that when someone comes and throws shade at you, and this is someone who just throws shade just because, it's not about you, it's about them.
Right.
But at the same time, we also have to look at the situation and assess how true could this be.
Right.
Because in all honesty, if we're to be completely honest, sometimes if I come up at you and I tell you, Rispa, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you only hear the 4, which is a negative, and you assume the 3, you'll say Grace is a bully. You know?
Right.
So even when you're talking about giving feedback directly, we also have to look at nani ananipatia hii feedback.
Right.
Is it some random person on Twitter?
And what relationship?
What relationship is there? Because then that's probably they don't have the mandate or our boundaries hatujafikisha hapo. But if I know you and I can't tell you 1, 2, 3 and you only hear the 4, which is a negative, then I'm not bullying you. I'm just giving you feedback. So we also need to really draw a line. And also when we're going through our social medias, when you're going through these conversations, filter out. Nani anakuzua, nani hakuzui. You know, because there are those people who are there bullying. There are those ones doing clout. And then there are those ones who are giving you really genuine feedback. Yeah. Like I could just come up to you and tell you, the way that caption, not right. Yeah, and that's no bullying.
Yeah,
that's feedback.
Sister. My sister is always on the feedback on my captions. but I like what you said because then, and this is the one thing I think that I have learned personally because, you know, I have been the target on multiple occasions of cyberbullying, is that sometimes what you need to do is if you have that 1 or 2 negative comments, most of the times, apart from the bio, love of Christ, I'm not saying lovers of Christ. It just happens that most of them. Yeah. I'm just saying. But yeah, you know, different bio. But if you look at their timeline, you'll find more often than not, they are bullying everybody. So also, you know, you are not don't center yourself too much, because it looks like this person is on a vendetta. I went to one person, he's picking fights with political leaders, he's picking fights with himself, random people, subliminals even on his page with his 200 followers. And it's okay. Sikuzi kuna nano influencer. Yeah, so there is that level of stuff. But we want to also find out, before we go back to the panel, just how yourself do you deal with depression. Again, feel free to use the SMS line, which is 22422. In case you do not want us to share your name, you can just send in the message directly and we'll read it. But if you feel you want to share your name, it's also okay. Same to Twitter, the hashtag is Daybreak. If you feel you want to comment on that, how do you deal with depression? Because this will help us kind of help you, because, you know, Grace will be able to tell us, okay, that one, hapo kidogo, iko shida, it will lead to X, Y, Z. So if you want to find out if the way you've been dealing with it is right, try to talk to us. How do you deal with depression? The SMS line is 22422, and then you can also use the hashtag Daybreak. I want to find out, Femi, because people, you're walking around in these environments and these spaces where it is very, my worry is sometimes it is very trendy to talk about mental health without doing the work yourself. And I remember you talked about it last week, how you actually had to do the work. And Grace has talked about how sometimes the blogs and podcasts are a way of you helping you through doing the work and expressing yourself. How does one, you know, kind of draw that line? Because it's easy to put up a quote. It's easy to retweet the post, like Rispa was saying. But how do you really actually do the work?
Okay. So one thing I realized is, with the global numbers of mental health, everyone is finding it, you know, like, I'm a mental health advocate, I should speak about it, you know, depression, you know, suicide, and all these other mental illnesses. So what I realized is, first of all, vulnerability is your strength. So if you learn to be vulnerable with yourself, if you learn to be kind to yourself, and you learn to express yourself, and maybe, as Teddy said, you heal the inner child in you, you will see, like, probably where the root cause of your depression or whichever mental illness that you have is stemming from. Then from there, what do you want to do with it? How do you want to move forward with it? Do you want it to be the thing that you keep holding on to? You know, I'm depressed, I have depression, that's why I don't have friends, that's why I don't have this, that's why I don't have this. Or are you going to move forward and tell yourself, okay, I've been undergoing depression. How do I know that I've been undergoing depression? Because a lot of times you actually don't know. You find yourself in that space. You're probably a happy-go-lucky person. You're happy every day. You associate with people on very friendly levels. But the moment you retire back to your house or to your room or to wherever you are going to, that's when it kicks in. Maybe you have a problem waking up in the morning. So what are you going to do? I personally decided to start journaling. Like, write down my thoughts, because I could go in front of someone and I want to tell them, I really want to, but how do I start? How do I open up and tell them, hey, by the way, as much as I'm laughing here with you, I'm not okay. So I decided, okay, let me just get a book and just write down whatever comes to mind. How has my day started? Did I have a problem waking up today morning? Today, did I wake up with positivity? Or did I have toxic positivity because I checked all these quotes online and I liked all of them and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do it like this? Or did I have a good day in general? Did I celebrate my small wins and my big wins? How am I going about my week, my month? What are my daily goals, my daily plans, my weekly plans? And sometimes just breathing is enough. Yeah.
Just getting through the day. Literally 1 day, 1 minute. I remember, I don't know if it was Kambo who said, even sometimes take it 1 minute at a time. Just so long as I can get through the hour, I'll be okay. You know, sometimes that's it. You just have to unapita tu through that particular moment. Teddy, so the other thing is, as you've talked about it several times, you're healing the inner child. Sometimes they say those who know better do better.
Right.
Right? So when you are young, probably you didn't know. So he is somebody who has realized that, you know what, the way I am today is because maybe I was bullied as a kid, and sometimes you may never get to find that bully. Even ukienda online umtafute uanze kusema wewe unakumbuka. But it's different if it's maybe your parent. That one you can go to. But then how do you, apart from dealing with them, which would be the other thing, but how do you take some steps or in your opinion to also forgive yourself?
All right. The matter about bullying and generally depression is a matter of perception too, in a way. And I'm saying this out of the knowledge of whatever the Greeks used to teach a lot back in the day. If you look at, say, the emperor, Marcus Aurelius, from Greece, what he used to talk about is basically Stoicism. And Stoicism literally brings you to a point of understanding yourself and being able to heal through the process without even the help of others. With Stoicism, it simply talks about three major things. That one, you look at perception. Say you have an issue, which is bullying, we look at it from the positive side. Say, okay, fine, it happened. But what am I going to do about this bullying? Am I going to cry in bed and lament over it? Or am I going to find something that I can do to help me forget that it happened? Say, for instance, decide to jog every evening. Try and jog as much as you can, to your limit, of course.
Yes.
Besides jogging, maybe you're a swimmer. Decide to swim and just enjoy nature, you know. The Stoics talk about the cosmos, enjoying nature, loving it and living in it. So perception is very important as the first point. So shift your focus from the negative side and move towards positivity and enjoy life, because life is there to be enjoyed. Kambua talked about living by the minute.
Right.
So why waste your minute lamenting over things that happen? But you know, it's not that we don't recognize how grave or serious the bullying was. That's why I moved to the second bit, which is action. From perception, you move to action. And action is about now actualizing it, you know? So I'm here thinking about swimming, yet I'm not even a good swimmer. People at home must be laughing because I'm not. So if I'm thinking about swimming, it's up to me to actually, start off. You know, so I need to act and move towards it. And after acting, there is the will. For how long will I be there? You know, if I start a healthy journey, for how long will I sustain it? Is it sustainable? Because out of that, you're building a new cycle in your life. And that is a cycle of change, and you're moving away from what used to bring you down. And in the end, you'll realize the other faculties within you that you're actually developing and taking them a notch higher. You know, by way of swimming every day, you realize that misuli zinaanza kutokea pole pole. By way of jogging every day, you realize that, so I can even drop the mic on radio and be an athlete, you know. So it is out of this that we discover other gains. And it is by following that trail of thoughts, perception, action, and will that you're actually able to handle other difficulties or other depressing factors in life. Let me just go back to will. Right. With will, the Greeks will tell you that will has a chance of opening up other possibilities of life. That will tell you everybody will die in the end. So will prepares you, it gets you at a point where you're able to understand that grief will come at some point, and when it comes, it would beat you down because you've dealt with things that hurt you in the past, but now there is one that you need to deal with, and you'll single it out, and over time, you'll get to recover step by step. You get? So, 3, perception, action, and will. Exactly.
Right. I like that because I always, I used to joke and tell somebody that I have no problem with will because it's half my name. So it's good. Let's take a look at some feedback here. We asked you today how you deal with depression, and we want to just see some of that. Just kind of put for us a picture. Use it almost as a sample size if you want. Let's take a look at some of that feedback. All right, so we have Engineer Lazaro says situation is always getting worse when you're not talking or disclosing your troubles, so you're keeping it to yourself. _Ras Fellow says men always know but maybe something good will come up, and then you're always told that a man stands alone. I guess that's why he said men don't open up. They're always waiting for the next thing. Arisa Rogers, depression can be easily and quickly managed at an early stage with stress. For it to be called depression, it means it has grown into maturity. Let's all be brothers and sisters, keepers, as told in the Bible. Hold it at that other one. So is that true, first of all? Because when you're out there, some things that look like it's truth, but it might not be. Is that true? Is that the progression?
I don't want to call it stress at its maturity, but yes, we do often see that when someone has been stressed for a long time and they're not able to cope, that in some cases they either develop or start experiencing depressive symptoms or symptoms of anxiety. Okay. And if that persists, then it can be actually diagnosed as depression or anxiety or both. Okay. Yeah.
All
so
right.
There's some truth to that.
There is some truth to that. Okay. So in this Samuel, one should stay connected with others, get outdoors, mingle, seek treatment options, just in case one is a casualty, all right? And then Masai Ballad, sincerely, depression is of a thing you cannot explain as a person. Nobody realizes you're depressed until you get over it. The first step to healing is acceptance, then turning your triggers into your strengths. Do one thing at a time. If I forget, somebody remind me to talk about triggers. All right, let's take a look at the SMSs that you've been bringing in. So there are some of the SMSs. Eric from Nax. Piece of advice: don't allow someone on these socials to dump their garbage on you. You are not a trash can. Do not waste your precious time engaging these faceless individuals hiding behind anonymity, spewing venom. All right. I'm asking how to deal with depression or failure at school. All right. Masking depression with humor is the new silent killer. Everyone thinks it's funny until someone takes their own life. That is actually true. I think depression needs to be taught more to men generally, even in relationships. Expectations are way too much. We can't manage. Women our age expect us to provide more than that. Oweru from Kiambu, I started working out and grew better as I started believing in myself more. I turned depression to exhaustion. Okay. I distance myself from you or I shut you down. That's how they deal with depression. I close my room, cry, pray to God. God has just been healing me naturally. I tried sharing with people, but I became more depressed. Sharing my issues with God has really helped me. Mwendo from Limuru, I have been taking walks, engaging in activities beyond my comfort zone to counter depression. Thank you for this topic. That's it? All right. I want to pick up two things there, very interesting because of, and this is from personal experience, when it comes to, it's a very interesting line there because while prayer will help, and shout out to you if it has helped you, my brother taught me prayer is a weapon, but therapy is the strategy. Because again, there are those people who, you know, you just unaenda tu na rubber stamp in Jesus' name, in Allah's name, in Buddha's name. Yeah. It is well, and you don't really deal with the thing. You can even be saying, "We are fighting with my husband, but I'll pray for him that the Lord will touch his heart." So you're praying, but you're not communicating. Right. It's not going to help. So I guess it's a very delicate balance. But I want to talk about the triggers and also something they talked about there, Rispa. There are many people who are walking around masking it with humor. Then there's that one who said, meaning I ran to exhaustion. Grace is also telling us if that really deals with the issue as well. What do you think about those two approaches?
Well, I'll start with running to, or choosing to look at it as exhaustion. Right. That's something that I used to do a lot, actually. So when I am indulging a lot in something and I get to a point where I feel like, okay, there's that point unafikanga unasema aki niko na stress. Unajua, because you've really dealt with this thing and you're not figuring it out. And then if you choose to, now from how I look at it, from the stress point, if I choose to look at it from the point of I need to give this a break, I need to relax from it kidogo and then come back to it later, then I've realized if I use that, it is easier for me to not extend my stress levels. I don't know that you understand, because it means that whatever I am going through, I am able to balance out between how hard I go on the matter or how slow I choose to go on it. we have a lot of triggers, a lot of triggers, by the way, that we don't think pull or push us to depression, but they actually do. Last week, after we had a conversation about so many triggers. By the way, I think you all remember.
Yes.
Them. When I said you did a lot of triggers are there. We can talk about so many. There's family, there's friends, there's situations in life. You know. Yeah. So how you choose to look at those triggers is what matters. And I think the biggest reason as to why triggers push us to depression is because we choose to ignore what we actually need to look at most, those nitty-gritty things. Give a good example if you're in a group of friends and you feel like you're always put down, or you're always used, or you're only necessary in certain times, or your opinions don't matter. And that's not the problem. The problem is if you communicate your situation, then they choose to put down your emotions, they choose to invalidate how you should feel. That is something that you need to run away from faster than you think you should, by the way, in case you didn't know. Because I'll tell you for a fact, today they will invalidate your opinion, tomorrow they'll invalidate your choices, the next day they'll invalidate even your presence. So you will always second guess, doubt, you know, utakuwa tu unashangaa kwani nimbana mimi, nimbana. Yeah. So triggers, a lot of triggers revolve around your daily life. Those are the things we choose to ignore. Asini beshte yangu haizi kuwa na ubaya. Ako na ubaya, by the way, acha nikushow. Wendo ujui, ako na ubaya sana. Wendo ujui. Mimi amiri nikikwambia. Na msiweza kuniuliza nani alinitenda. Acha nikwambie ako na ubaya. Willis mimi kama if there's a certain way in which I carry myself with you, and you start feeling my absence, and you start feeling my energy shift, and you communicate it. Nakwambia brother, wacha uko na jokes wewe. Imagine huna jokes. Mimi mbaya, niko na shida na wewe. So look at those tiny nitty-gritty things. Triggers are everywhere. Triggers are also within yourself. If you choose to not give yourself the utmost love, the utmost attention, then you might actually come to realize you might actually be the cause of your own depression. That is the saddest truth that nobody wants to accept. Number one, if you're not able to appreciate your own company, your own space, as in lazima nikuwe na wewe ati ndo ni feel niko sawa, mbele uko na shida kubwa sana, and it's not even anything to laugh about. You have a problem and a big one, and you need to check it, because if you can't appreciate your own company, so how do you expect other people to appreciate it? You know, if you cannot appreciate your own wins, your own choices, and how are other people supposed to appreciate it? Because you are a reflection of others, how you choose to see yourself. Yeah. So.
Right. Yeah. Very interesting. Yes, it's true. Marafiki inaweza kuwa noma. Right. Maunda pia kuna mtu amesema hapo, another thing is the pressure that the boy child anapata from, I think you mentioned age mates, and generally I think society. Do you think that also counts to depression na mtu anaza deal nayo aje sasa? Because bills na haziendi.
Bills haziendi. Exactly. I think hapo sasa kwa age mates, I think where you could encounter a lot of depression ama ukona issues now, when you saw also one of the things is envy and jealousy. Envy and jealousy. So umse tunashinda naye lakini anaendelea kunishinda. Na cheki umse tuko mahali mimi na feel umse mbona ana prosper kunishinda. Unaona, that thing also is one of the things that triggers depression. Right. One of the things is just to deal with that is set realistic goals with the kwako, and then just be kind with yourself as well. One day at a time. Because also on social media, people don't post their negatives. People post only positive things. You get? So just because you see people posting positive things, don't mean hawana issues sometimes, wakona issues. And I've also taken note on there's somebody who sent an SMS and how do you deal with failure at school?
I want you to hold that point because Teddy needs to go. Before you go, I need to get you to talk to. Yeah, he needs to go and read news. 96. I want to get your thoughts on if somebody is watching just your message and they're dealing with depression, what would be your advice to them before you?
I think I'll use the Latin phrase amor fati, you know. Love whatever happens around you, you know. Love fate, because wherever you are, that place you're at this particular moment, there is a reason for that. Could be you're the best in your career or you're the worst. Embrace it. Embrace it because it will tell the person that you're going to be. Willis was not Willis 10 years ago. He was probably covering a story in Samburu.
Somalia.
Yeah. Right now he's enjoying his time here, especially on Thursdays.
That's right.
So for you to get to wherever you want to get to, and to piggyback on what Maunda said about stress in school, when it comes to school, it's about timing. Plan your time, plan your day, set your schedule, gain on your strengths, build on your weaknesses. At the end of the day, you'll succeed. So amor fati, and be a lover of life, enjoy life, and always keep smiling.
Yes.
There is an Indian guy who once told me, and he asked me 2 questions. So Willis, you'll be responding.
Okay.
And your answer will be no, okay?
Okay.
So can you do it?
No.
Why worry?
No.
Why worry?
Oh, why worry?
So why worry? If you can't do it, why
worry? Right.
Yeah, and if you can do it, why worry? So at times you can do something, but you're always fidgeting. You're up and down. You're like, oh, nitamaliza sangapi? Will I even be able to finish this task? You know, the boss is on my case, but you can do it. So why worry? Yeah, plan your time, 1 day at a time, 1 minute at a time, as Gamboa said, yes. And you'll be good to go. Yeah. Just like I am. I think I'm good to go.
All right. All right. Well, asante sana, Teddy. Maunda, before you go back to Grace because of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about that, your school.
Yeah.
Yes.
About failing in school, he's mentioned he's given very good points, about how now to succeed in school. But I'm also of a very different, just a bit different opinion, is that, you know, we are not all born to be the same. The schools are failing us when they don't teach us diversity. They don't explore on our talents. So we are all taught how to be good at books. Maybe that's not what you were meant to be in life, you know. Some people play football and they earn good money. They make a living. Some people are musicians. You know, everybody. You know, if you keep telling a fish to climb a tree, it will grow its entire life thinking it's stupid, because it will never climb that tree. So we are different. So the thing is, look for your talent. Right. Kama ushiki books maze, kama wewe ndo unakujaga namba 1 kutoka last, usifeel mbaya. Angalia uko na talent gani mzee. Unaona? So focus on that talent. Mimi ile shule nilisomea, I think the science lab was not as equipped as how the sports department was. I wish you spent more time kwa viwanja na mambo ya talent more than to spend kwa hiyo lab ile kwa equipped. I think so that would have been better.
Right.
Yeah, but nobody tells us that.
Yes.
Sisi kila mtu ni wewe shika kitabu, cram, anguka mtihani, rudi, the same thing.
The cycle
over continues. And the cycle continues, and then we keep somehow expecting different results.
Yeah.
No, we were not born to be the same.
Right.
Yeah, if you keep failing at school, mimi mtoi wangu akifika class 6 kama anatoka number last, nitamtoa shule, niangalie talent yake ni nini. So nita focus on your talent yake. I will not keep depressing my child for his lifetime just because ashiki matrix. I'm yet to use matrix in my life. or get so much money that needed simultaneous equations to solve them. Hakuna. Focus on your talent kama ushiki chuo.
Yes. All right. Grace, maybe there's somebody who's watching who has a friend or is dealing with the depression. What do you think they should do on their way to recovery?
I'm still laughing. Whether we work with simultaneous equations, but you end up overtake. Simultaneous.
Yeah, simultaneous equation.
Have you met the obtuse angle in your life?
This is what. Anyway, when you're looking at how do you help someone who's going through depression in your life, I'm going to start with you as a person, so that you can also have the capacity to work with the next person who's next to you. And I'll also touch on a few of the comments that were given by our watchers, listeners, and we look at self-care being how we often manage depression at a personal level, and also when you're encouraging people next to us, especially when you're not working with a professional, what that entails. So when you look at self-care has different sides. I'm going to touch on a few. So to connect physical self-care, which means taking care of your physical body. There's no health without mental health, which means that for you to be mentally well, your body also has to be physically well. Running yourself to exhaustion may not be the best word, but exercising is very healthy. Making sure that you have your meals, making sure that you sleep adequately. All those help you prepare and prevent all these mental health challenges. Because if you don't sleep well, then you'll be anxious, you'll be grumpy. We all know where that leads. If you don't eat healthy, you're often junking, and that's going to also affect your mood. You know, when you exercise in itself helps reduce the stress hormone in the body, cortisol. So in a sense, you're reducing stress, and you're also dealing with depression, and you feel successful even if you've walked from here to the door. You know, so just walk, get physical, it helps, and it goes a really long way. The other one is social. Social, we're looking at our social relationships, and today we've talked a lot about the people around us. Yeah. So if you're looking at it in terms of social, taking some time off from your social media, I always encourage myself, I can't really stay off my phone for very long because of the nature of my work, but I try for at least an hour a day. I'm not on social media, I'm not texting, I'm not calling. If preferably, I'm very far away from my phone. When I'm on leave, I take at least a day without my phone, you know? So keep away from your phone, but at the same time, ensure that you're spending time with your friends and relatives, those who are close to you. People who you can talk to, people who you can feel safe with, people who create a safe space for you. Not the social media kind, not the ones who you talk to today and then tomorrow stories zako ziko na kila mtu. So create time for those things that you enjoy. Also, take time to be in tune with the environment. Be mindful. Go take a walk, take a hike. You know, just enjoy. Stand outside in the morning and enjoy the feeling of the sun in your face, to say the least. You know, try get a little bit of this vitamin D often. Yeah, enjoy nature because it also has that very calming effect. Also do things that you enjoy. If you enjoy listening to music, dancing, I don't know, all those other things that people may enjoy, cooking, eating, make time to do those because those entail self-care. So even when you're looking at supporting a loved one, supporting someone who's close to you, we are looking at you now being part of their social self-care, you know, because you're looking at them and you're asking them, how have you been? Creating time just for them, encouraging them to now do these things that they were not doing before. Get out of the house, let's go for a walk, let's have a conversation. When is the last time you took a shower? Showering, by the way, inakuanga muhimu. You know?
Yeah.
Encourage them. Have you taken a shower today? When was the last time you got some wake up? Let's doll you up. Let's help you feel a little bit better, you know? And then you can also encourage them to seek professional help, which is also part of self-care when you're looking at the psychological self-care. So it goes above and beyond. And spiritual self-care is also part and parcel of that, like going to church. So whatever it is that works for you, not everyone is spiritual, not everyone is religious, but I'd like to throw this out there. Research has shown that when someone has a relationship with God, and they often practice it, then it has been shown as a protective factor for our mental health. But at the same time, it's not just going and praying or reading the Bible and then chilling and doing nothing. It's also acting on it. If I may just say, faith without action is dead, right. You know? So it's one thing to pray, but it's also another one to actually act and look for solutions to the problems that you have, ask for help, and also address the problem in itself.
All right. Right. So, of course, tunafanya ile kitu inaitwa overrun. So I'll just give briefly, starting with you, because I want Femi to have the final word. Give us you know where you can be found, and then also where you can be found, And Femi, as you give us where you can be found, the final word to somebody who might be watching and going through it as well. So we'll start with you.
Yeah. So if you'd like to come to us, or you'd like someone to talk to, see a therapist or even see a psychiatrist, you can give us a call on our toll-free number, 0800 220 000. I repeat, 0800 220 000. Or you can reach out at any of our branches, Chiromo Hospital Group, and we look forward to being there to support your mental health. And remember, tufunguke. Let's talk about mental health.
Right.
Okay. You can find me on all my social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn at @Iam_Waigiri. You can also find me professionally on 0708 397 299. And my last word to you would be, as my best friend says, my best friend is called Brian. He says, your sole purpose in this life could be to get someone else out of a situation that would kill them. So be kind.
Yeah, man. And for me, you can find me across all social media platforms on DJ Rev Don Dada. Yeah, man, I'm a Gabriel William Maunda. And also, every Saturday, 3 to 6, Sports Arena under near Hot 96, alongside John Kianda, the sports guru. Yeah, man, and my word will be about what you guys said about God, about prayer. Professional street, but God heals. So do not disregard that aspect of professional treating. Just go for a professional help, and then God will heal you. So hapo ndo kuja kwa maombi. And then maze, just surround yourself with good vibes, man. No negativity.
Wagwan.
Good vibes.
Good vibes only.
Yeah, man.
All right.
You can find me on Instagram at bubblypoet_Afrique, on Facebook as Mugimba Munyafu, and my parting shot is learn to feel the rain. Don't just get wet. Learn to feel the rain. So experience everything that you're experiencing and learn from it. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And I'd like to thank you again for coming through. And hopefully, you know, we've talked about it and you've gotten some help. If not, of course, you can reach out to every one of us who will probably point you to the right direction or see where you can help yourselves, or professionally you can reach out to Grace in case you didn't catch that one. Willis, your depression, I'll give you the contact and you can go ahead and do that. So, as I always say, be kind to the person who is staring at you in the mirror when you look in the mirror. Be kind to that person and always know that successful people look like you. Yes, it is true that if you're a man, you, the president, the Pope, everybody wears their jeans or trousers one leg at a time. What a Zuckerberg. The only difference between them is time and opportunity. So find your time, find your opportunity, make the most of it, and whatever the outcome, cherish it because you did the work. Peace and love.